Happy Thursday. It's been a week since we talked last. Of course,
Yes.
we texted a couple times during the week just to see how each other's day was going and so like that. But today's our weekly conversation. So
Today's our face to face, so
that's
that's
right.
always
That's
better.
right. It's
Yeah, I
always great
like
to
this
see your
better
face.
than just the texting, so that's always nice.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to kind of remind everybody that Nora and I are related. We are niece and aunt. So Nora's my aunt and I'm her niece. And my mom was her sister. And we are at 1 year apart in age. So, basically, we've always been very, very close sisters, like sisters. That's what we call each
Yes.
other.
Yes.
But we started our YouTube channel a year and a half ago or so, almost 2 years ago now,
Yeah.
really just to talk about what we're going through in life. And we know that if we're going through this, everyone else is going through this at some point in time as well. We are close to retirement. So we're talking about all things related to retirement, to Social Security, to our lives, our daily lives, our ups and downs. And we're real. We do not rehearse any of this. We don't plan our script really in advance. The only thing we've been doing together lately is reading the book that we're reading, and we'll talk about the chapters, live. But basically, we're doing a live show. Every time you watch a show, it's live.
Yeah.
So what would really help us is if you come back and watch us every week, and you can suggest content if you have an idea, like, would love to hear you talk about this. But you know, we're doing this live and we do this because we know that there are people out there that love to watch YouTube. We do too. And we just want to share our lives with more people that we're real people going through real things in life. And sometimes I think a lot of people, recently somebody said something like, I don't know how often you are able to hear from somebody who's in their 60s. Maybe you have a grandparent that lives far away, you don't get to talk to them every day. So we can adopt you. You can be our grandchildren if you'd like. Or some people are exactly our age, going through the same thing that we're going through, and we
Yeah.
try to just provide some inspiration and hope, and that's why we're on each week. So
Yeah. And Elva, also to add, or maybe you're older and you have advice for us,
yeah,
which would
exactly.
be good too, because both of our moms have passed, and
That's
it
right.
would be awesome to be able to have somebody say, you shouldn't be doing this or you should be doing that, and
Yeah.
that might help us. That might straighten us out or something. I don't know.
Well, it's true. And in fact, we went to a seminar tonight that was on Social Security and about
Um,
preparing for retirement. And I'm just so shocked about how much we don't know. And it's eye-opening. And it's also it's a great time because as we're thinking about retirement 1 to 2 years away at the most.
yeah.
This is like we have lists of like all these things we need to start thinking about doing. We had a little bit last week as well when we're looking at taxes and retirement, and it's eye-opening and it's so interesting. So they did say something today, and they said that we've always heard that Social Security at some point will end. But now there's a date on it. It says 10 years. And the year, and hopefully, I mean, if this is right, I don't know, but 2035, Social Security will end. And that's because they said a couple different things. The shrinking population of people having children. In the past, they were having 3 children plus. Now the average is 2. And there were a couple different reasons, and I've already forgotten what the first one was, but it was important too. And then also each day, I think they said each day or each month, I'm not sure. There's like 10,000 people retiring. It's because the huge number of baby boomers and our generation retiring. So we're obviously using Social Security and are getting
Yeah.
ready to use it. So um, it's really eye-opening, but it's what we're planning for as well. And we have good conversations about a lot of different things, including planning for retirement. So
Yeah, we are knocking on Social Security's door pretty soon. And I've also been trying to, get as much information as possible on it because you don't want to make a mistake and then,
yeah,
I don't know, miss something that maybe you should have, known about before. So
yeah,
plus, if you didn't save for Social Security or you don't have a retirement, I just feel like yeah, at this day and age, you're going to be in trouble. So,
yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, it's eye-opening, just like you said. And was there one thing that stood out to you that you thought, oh, I didn't know that?
Well, we were looking at plans. We were looking at the difference between retiring at 62 versus 65 versus 72. I think it was 70 or 72. And, that's, we've always gone back and forth on that hearing because obviously you start retirement at 62. I think it was about $2,500 a month versus if you wait till 65, it's up like 4,000 versus you start at 72, it's like 5,000. So it's showing you the different levels. But we did the math and it wasn't that much of a difference in what you're going to receive. I think it was a little bit more if you waited a little bit longer because the amount is higher. But it also means, and if you're able to work, continue to work between now and 65 or 70, then
Hmm.
obviously you're making more money as you continue to work. Um,
Hmm.
but it's everybody's decision where they feel like they are in life. And I know you and I agree, and my husband too, that we just don't want to wait too long to do the things we want to do in life and then feel like,
Right.
oh, we can't because
Right.
we medically or physically can't. We want to be able
Exactly.
to make sure we're able to take all
Yeah.
those trips
Absolutely.
around the world that we want to take.
Exactly. Plus, I mean, if you think about it, like some people say, well, we want to wait till we're 70 because, yeah, we're going to get X money, X amount at 70 and only this amount at 65. But you do get, cost of living increases as it goes along. So maybe you won't have the same amount when you're 70, but hey, now you've had those years where you were still able to walk or
Right.
run or whatever you can still do, as
Exactly.
opposed to maybe being 70 and unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but our health is not going to get better, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we have to be realistic. We're getting older, so
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
to me, it's more important to have the time, and they say, when you retire, that's the time that you should, take a part-time job and do something that you always wanted to do, even if it doesn't pay you much or if it's volunteering or whatever. But
Right.
that's the time to actually do that dream job that you couldn't do before because you had all these obligations with children and school and debts and
Exactly.
things. And
Right.
hopefully, when we retire, we will not only be debt free, but we're going to travel around the world. All
And have a
with our
part-time
social
job.
security. Yeah.
Well, and I think it said like as long as that part-time job is not more than $23,000 a year or something, it's
Yeah,
you're
it's
close to that.
very minimal. Yeah, it's like $1,200 a month or something like that, which is
Yeah.
not very much if you think
And
about it. I mean,
right.
it's
But
you've
you
got
can
to be
claim
working.
benefits with
Yeah.
that amount, 23,000 a year. But if you go over that, they start taxing you at like every dollar you make, they tax and they take a half of that. So instead of making a dollar, an hour, you're making 50 cents an hour. So you don't
Yeah,
want to
but
go
you
over
have
that
to pay it
amount. It
back.
doesn't
Yeah.
pay, it doesn't, it's not beneficial, I think. But some people
Yeah.
are in a situation, I think, where they have to, so work. But
Yeah, it's hard, but
so
let's
much
not
taxes
let's
on
not talk Social Security anymore.
I
You're depressing
know.
me.
No. But if anybody has a comment and has some suggestions on what we should think about or who we should talk to,
Yes.
please
Or
inform
yeah,
us.
definitely. And like I said, and somebody who's already maybe receiving Social Security and maybe has a little small part-time job, how does that work out for you? Does that work out well? Do you sometimes have to go to your boss and say, "Hey, stop! Don't give me any more hours because I'm going to go over, what I can earn on a monthly basis or whatever." So yeah, let us
Well,
know.
and they
We're
did talk
really
about that too. Some employers would do like deferred income, where you're letting so that they don't affect their Social Security benefits. And so I don't know if they don't pay them for a while or they hold on to it and maybe they pay them later. I don't know what they do
Yeah,
with that.
that's true. You can do that too. You can say stop it, kind of like put a pause on it and then, take the
Yeah.
job or whatever and then come back and pick it up again, which I guess that works out. But I mean, another option, of course, is to be, an independent contractor, a 1099 employee, then that's not going to go against,
Oh, they did say
any
that
kind of,
too. Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
didn't know about that. Yeah.
this month, I've actually, surprise, surprise, went back and reactivated my realtor's license.
Really?
But that's why I've been like so
Okay.
busy because I had to take 3 30-hour courses
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
another course that I finished up last night. So it was on contracts and it was on brokerage and it was on marketing and it was on something
Wow.
else. It was just a lot. But I got lucky, Elva, because it was by the end of this month, it was going to terminate my license because you only have 2 years to be inactive
Okay.
and be able to reactivate after those 2 years. Then it terminates and you have to start from step one and go back and take the
Uh,
state exam and the national exam. And I was like, so I was lucky.
Oh, good.
I felt blessed in that. But I called, I talked to them at the beginning of this month, and they said, "Oh yeah, you can do it. You just got to take all these classes, like
Wow.
what 190 something hours of classes, but you just have to get it all done before the 29th." Well, believe it or
Oh
not,
my
I
God.
I got it done. So, yeah. So
Wow.
yesterday I mailed out my reactivation application and the little fee, of course, because everybody needs money,
Okay.
and put that in there and sent it off to Austin. And so
Wow.
I'll be getting my license back.
Okay. Wonderful. Good. I'm
Yeah.
happy for you. I
So
know you
we'll
really
see.
enjoyed doing it too.
I did really enjoy it. I wasn't good at it, but I really did enjoy it. I mean, I didn't make very much money or hardly any money, but I'm hoping that this time is going to be the time. So hopefully
Yeah.
we'll see.
Oh,
I
sure.
just have to stay positive on that, and I'm sure it'll go
Yeah.
better.
Exactly.
But that's
Exactly.
what I've
Well,
been working on this
that's
month. But
exciting. Good for you. Thank
yeah,
you for doing that. I mean, I
yeah,
think sometimes we start to lose faith that we can do something but you don't really do it. You mean if you don't try. So I'm
yeah.
glad.
You have to try. And honestly, when they said, "Oh, you need to take 190 hours," and I was like, in the next 3 weeks, and I thought, "Oh my God, how am I going to do this?" But then, just like you said, I kind of told myself, "Okay, just buckle down and put those blinders on and just do it,"
Yeah,
and
sure.
got it done. So that was good. So anyway, but that's my
Wonderful.
story for this month.
Good for
I
you.
want to,
Proud.
yeah, no, yeah. And today I was actually in my office in Austin. I drove over there, and
Oh,
I had a good day there. It was nice to see everybody at the office.
okay, good.
But it was raining. Oh, cats and dogs, on the way
Oh,
back. I mean, I couldn't even see the road to get back to San Antonio because well, we talked about that. I'm in San Antonio and you're, in Georgia. But it was crazy. And, on the way back, I was thinking, what did that come from? What does that mean? Cats and dogs. It's raining cats and dogs. I don't know why that came to me. And I thought, what is that? How did that originate
I don't know.
from rain?
Did you look it up? I don't know. I thought you
I
were going
was driving. I was driving, but I was thinking, I'm going to ask Gilva. She probably
to.
knows. She
I
probably
don't.
knows. And
I
I
don't.
thought, I mean, I couldn't see a thing. And I was just thinking cats and dogs, cats and dogs. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why cats and dogs? I don't
Right.
know. But
Exactly.
if
Okay.
anybody knows out there, let
Please
me
tell
know
us.
because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from either. No, that's a good question. We could ask
Yeah.
Siri, but I put my timer on so we can keep track of how long our videos. So
Oh, yes.
my
Yes.
timer
Yes. Well, here we
is busy.
go. I think we're ready to get
Here we
into,
go. Yes. All
yes.
right. Yes. We're talking about chapter 4 this week. So Nora and I are reading, she's reading it. I'm listening to the Audible
Mhm.
of this book, and we're just discussing one chapter at a time. So you still
Very slowly.
catch up very quickly. Just
Yeah.
get the book and start reading. But yes, and it's all really focused on the ego, and it's been good. And this chapter 4 really talked about that we play unconscious roles, and
Yes.
it's examples of we play the role of victim,
Yes.
aggressor,
Yeah.
uh,
Yep.
uh, rescuer, mother,
Yep.
father, all
Yeah.
these roles. And that's not bad, but it's also as long as you're not losing your authentic self is.
Hmm.
Um, Nora and I have been talking about this, that as we go through the book, we're learning things and relating it to our own lives, like our work, like this week, even I was thinking about my parenting style with my adult son. And I was thinking, I don't want to ever because it said something like there was an example of like a parent saying, I just want you to have a better life than I did, so I want you to do this or that. Well, that's not really right to say because you're putting a
It's not. Uh-oh.
no, they said that
Okay, I didn't see that part.
that's your ego talking to your child saying, my expectations for you are that you do this because
Yeah.
I didn't do this. So like it's kind of like
Oh, okay.
you know what I mean? It's okay to
Yeah.
say, I want you to achieve whatever it is that's important to you. I want you to be,
Hmm.
success will be whatever you make it, like
Hmm.
empowering them, not putting that kind of guilt trip on them, which I think being raised in Hispanic household, there was a lot of guilt trips that were placed on me for sure by your sister.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. My sister, the saint? No, that
You're
couldn't
a
have
little
been.
innocent sister. Yeah, I don't know. But
And then
I
he
like
talked
that.
about, I wanted to mention, because I also kind of highlighted and wrote it in the book on the side there. He talks about sometimes when we over identify with a role, like
Yeah.
then we become inauthentic and we become rigid because
Yeah,
it's kind of
exactly.
like I kind of was relating it to if you go to like a really, really, really fancy party or something. And so you're really trying to fit in and you're trying to be as, as fancy as the person next to you and be able to speak the same, language that they're
Right.
speaking or whatever. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you might be tongue tied and you're like, and then you become like rigid, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, I nervous almost, like
Right.
anxiety because you're like, okay, I don't know what else to say or what else to do. Is it working? Is it not working? Are they looking at me? Are they, and then
Right.
what for? So he's saying it's better to be just lift that veil, kind of like a
Yeah.
veil, and just be yourself. And
Right.
people will respect that more and you'll come across as genuine and you'll feel good,
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and if
Well,
people don't like you when you're being genuine, then maybe they're not
they're
nice
not the
people.
right people.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
we've gone to parties or whatever, and we'll say something like, "Oh, there were a bunch of fake people." They felt like there were fake people there trying
That
to.
wasn't at my party was
No,
it? No.
no, no, no. But then also it causes you to go into a fake mode too, because you're now talking about superficial things or whatever. But I like that he said, like it's okay to say, I don't know who I am versus I don't know who I'm supposed to be. And
Interesting.
that
Yeah.
was really clarifying because he said it's okay to be wondering, like I said, what you're supposed to be doing or what you thinking about, what do I want to be doing? But what I'm supposed to be or what I'm supposed to be doing is like as if something you should be doing this, like this,
Yeah.
you're falling below expectations if you're not doing this. And it's
Right.
your ego that's comparing you to society. Maybe your best friend is going to medical school and you took the year off and you feel inferior. And they did
Yeah.
talk about that, inferior and superior, that
Mhm.
those are all ego placing
Mhm.
those labels on us.
Mhm.
And I know that a lot of people, there was some talk about people that, um, they do suffer and they put themselves that label of being disadvantaged. Um, definitely being born into a family poverty stricken. Not everybody sometimes can climb their way out of that. And it's hard. I mean, I feel like I was born into our family wasn't rich either, but I think it's not about that's our truth, that's our story, but
Yeah.
it's what you do in spite of that. It's
Right.
you don't just stay labeled that and say, well, I can't do anything
Yeah.
because was my parents were poor. Well,
Mm.
it doesn't matter. Now, what are you going to do? How are
Right.
you going to get
Right.
over that and grow? So I felt like that was um, I think that was uplifting to realize that we
Mhm.
put these labels on ourselves
Mhm.
can take these labels off too and say, okay, that's where I came from. That's my past.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't mean it has to be my future. And my
Yeah.
day-to-day life is
Right.
not going to be based on that.
But it's kind of like if come from a very poor family and then when you walk out of your home, when you go to school or whatever, you're wearing designer, whatever, this and that. And maybe your parents are really working two, three jobs, to get you that designer clothing. So you're trying to put up this front. And again, it's your ego
Mm,
pretending like, hey, I'm this, I'm that. But you really, when you get home, you realize you're not.
no, right.
But wouldn't it be better for that person to just, say, hey, this is who I am. I'm wearing, Target or Walmart or thrift
Yeah.
store, whatever it is. It's
Mhm.
okay, and then like you said, then they can kind of lift themselves off because now they're being authentic to themselves
Right,
and no
exactly.
more ego. Instead, the ego is not covering them. It's like lift that veil.
Right, exactly. Now, I'm certainly not saying that people that are in poverty, because obviously I work for an organization that supports individuals that are going through, food scarcity and housing insecurity and definitely poverty levels. And there are situations that are very challenging for people, and it's true. But I'm proud that they reach out and ask for support and services and help but it always impresses me too of how far they come with that kind of support. How we see them in stages and we see how they move forward and stuff like that. But it's certainly not easy to be in those situations, and we're not trying to belittle or demean people that are in those
Oh no.
situations. I think we're just trying to say that, um, we limit ourselves sometimes with the roles that we like trying to play a character
Hmm.
in a movie or in a play or something, but
Hmm.
the real person inside of you that's deep down inside of you should lead your life and
Hmm.
is who you should be listening to. And
Mhm.
not just what our ego tells us. Well, this is
Mhm.
what society thinks you should be or do, etc. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a good chapter. I enjoyed
I enjoyed it as well. And it's so true. If you just, try to be authentic and be yourself, whether you're rich or poor or,
yeah.
whatever, billionaire, if you're just yourself, people will even, they'll see that and they'll even, like you more. So not that we're here to have everybody like us, but you know what I mean? It's like they'll be
Right.
comfortable with you because you'll be coming across as comfortable and authentic. But if you're not, then you're going to run out of, fancy words to use. And then you're like, uh-oh, now what do I say? So
Well, and I thought about it from a parenting perspective when children are younger, and I think a lot of times, parents are caught up in working extra hard to be noticed and extra hard to keep up with the Joneses and to buy the next car or house. We've kind of talked about this, but what are we role modeling for our children too? What importance all those things are versus spending time with them, getting to know them, letting them get to know you and stuff like that. So I
isn't
think
it
talked
kind of
about.
going back to Social Security and retirement? Sometimes I feel like we learn those lessons a little late sometimes, like I wish that, just like you were saying, maybe I was working too much. I wish I would have spent more time with my son, just for, with him while he was playing video games and not paying attention to me, but at least I would have been there with him. But
Yeah,
yeah, sometimes we learn those lessons a little late. So for those of you that are younger out there
yeah,
and have little
definitely.
ones, enjoy those times because they grow up. I know this sounds like a
Right.
cliche and all old people say this, so I'm going to go ahead and be that old person and say it. They grow up so fast and they
They
do.
do. They
And
do.
before, it's today and you're walking them, hand in hand to kindergarten. And then it's, years, it just flies by and they're graduating from college and they're flying the coop and that's it. They're gone.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, and I know that I've certainly, in the past, I've put pressure on both my children about having children. And when my daughter and son-in-law got married, it was like the first question, like when are the grandchildren coming, stuff like that.
You're
Um,
terrible.
Oh, I was definitely serious. And I know that that was their plan as well. But with my son, he's been very open and honest and saying, I may never have children. I'm not sure that I want children. And now I've realized it's his life, it's his decision. I've told him that having children was the best thing for me personally, how much I love, and he knows how much I love them. But it is his decision, and I don't put that pressure on him anymore in any way. I'm just like, it's your life. You do what you feel is best for you.
Mhm.
If he asked me a question like, would you, do you think motherhood is the best? Of course, I'm going to say yes, but
Yeah.
that's for me, and it
Yeah.
may not be the same for somebody
Right.
else. So,
Yeah, you're brave. I don't ask because I just feel like it's not my place. I just kind of listen and I'm like, well, are they maybe talking about some children? But, if they're not, they're not. And it's totally up to them. But I know my son, kind of like yours, always said that he really didn't want to have children, but he also didn't want to get married. So, but now he's married. So
that's
things
good.
change.
Yeah,
So you never know,
you never know. Well,
never
and the
know.
truth is, we're not going to love them less if they choose not to have children.
Yeah,
So it certainly is their decision, and um,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We wish them both all the best, all of,
Yes, all the time. Yeah.
of course, yes. So, but yeah, we're reading. We're continuing to read. There's a lot of content in each chapter.
Yes.
Really good.
I don't even know how many chapters there is. Did you check?
I don't know. I don't know.
Let me
I'm not really
see.
sure.
I'm not sure either, but there's quite a few left. So anybody who wants to join us still has plenty of time to,
That's right.
to
To
join
jump
us and
in.
read with us. And,
Yeah.
well, I was going to say it's not a hard book to read. It's not hard to read, but sometimes you do have trouble understanding, or at least I have. And I have to go back and reread a few times because you have to really,
Yeah.
it gets a little intense as to what he's saying. So
Right.
you do have to kind of go back and kind of read and then think, oh, that's what he's saying,
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
it's a little deep, but it's
Yes.
very, very interesting.
Right. He's like the subconscious mind, blah blah blah, the unconscious mind,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Like, okay, let me hear that again.
Yeah.
Or I'll make a note on something that I think is really interesting. He has quite a bit of interesting notes that he says. So I'm glad that you have the
Yeah.
book. And I still haven't
It
made
looks like there's 10 chapters, so that's not
10
too
chapters.
bad. We're on
Okay.
chapter 4, so we're almost halfway there. So,
Yep, we'll start
and
chapter
you know
five.
what? We also want to mention again that if you guys, anybody out there has a book that you want to suggest to us that you think that we might like, I mean, this is something we like, but this doesn't mean this is like, we would also read, a love story or whatever, I don't know about science fiction. That's not my favorite, but yeah, I could try it. I could try it if somebody wants to suggest that. So if you have any good suggestions of something that you've read out there, guys, yeah, definitely give us a holler on that.
I think that the book has given us, well, both you and I both love learning, and I think that's what this opportunity is giving us an opportunity just to broaden our horizons, think about something we haven't thought about or talked about regularly. And
Mhm.
but it's not the entire video, obviously. We just do this part at the very end. We just talk a little bit about the book. So, but yeah, it's been good, and we're looking forward to chapter 5 next week. So
Yes, and that's been our week in review for
that's
until
right.
next week.
The Lucy and Ethel book club.
Yes. Oh, you know what? Oh, we did look up Ethel's maiden name. Remember, we said Lucy was McGillicuddy and
Mhm.
Ethel was. I texted it to you. I don't remember either, but was it Campbell? No, it wasn't Campbell. Collier?
Did you text me that? I thought well,
Yeah.
you did text me
Yeah.
I don't know, somebody else, the lady that was playing the grocery store lady that liked the other guy that was
That like the grocery store man. Yeah,
yeah.
Mr. Somebody. I don't know.
Oh my
Jeez.
gosh, we're the
Okay.
worst.
We don't remember. Don't listen.
Hey,
Well, yeah,
It's,
listen to us, but don't listen to that because we don't remember.
it's one of our favorite shows. I love Lucy. So
Yes.
that's why we do a lot of
Yes.
references to, but
To Lucy.
we were laughing at our book club, something we said like in the first week, and we're like, we're going to call it the Lucy and Ethel book club because
Because
we
it's
don't take
ridiculous,
ourselves too
but
seriously.
here we are. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous, but here we are. We're trying,
we
and
are
we're having
trying.
fun, so that's a good thing, right?
You know what? That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
We're not the perfect people,
Yeah.
in regarding this book or the authoritarians on this or authority on this, but we're enjoying reading it. We're having fun relating it to our lives, which I think is important. So we're
Yeah.
doing our best.
Exactly.
That's all we're doing. So,
Yeah.
well,
So
great.
everybody have a wonderful week. Please remember to come back and see us again because we'll be posting up, a video every week, once a week, right, Emma?
That's right. Once a week.
Okay, good, 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 good. So it'll be every week, and that's what we're doing.
Yep, that's what we're doing. Just living life out loud. So join us each
Right.
week. And I
Yes.
guess we'll see you guys next week. Have a
Yeah.
good Nora.
You too. Have a wonderful
Thank
week.
you.
Looking forward to seeing you next week.
That's right. Is it next week? Oh, next week when we talk. I thought you meant in person. You're
Oh
scaring
no,
me.
here we see each other here. Yeah, we're
Yes,
going to
yes.
see each other in person, but that's
We
in
are going to
September, which is
Dallas.
almost September because we
That's
are
right.
going to Dallas. Yeah.
We're going to Dallas in September and we're going to spend a few days together and we're going to tape some videos in Dallas and visit my sister. So we're
Yeah.
excited about that. So
And my sister and my
that's
brothers. Yeah.
yes,
And so
yes.
Lucy and Ethel do Dallas, something like that.
Yeah, road trip. Lucy and
Yes.
Ethel's road trip.
Yeah. There you go.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Well, take care and
Take
take care
care.
of me, and we'll see you next week.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.